Genghis Khan would marry off a daughter to the king of an allied nation. Then he would assign his new son-in-law to military duty in the Mongol wars, while his daughter took over the rule. Most sons-in-law died in combat, giving his daughters complete control of these nations. Man had no shortages of daughters, too. Dude was definitely not a fan of condoms. And this is how you rule a nation without birthing boys. Henry VIII could have saved himself a lot of trouble this way, although Lord knows the Kingdom of England was large enough. Founders of big Japanese companies preferred having daughters because they could choose their son-in-law that will take over their company. I thought the method now was to adopt a man as a son and then have him take over the company? It skips the whole have a daughter and make her marry the guy you want step. Example, 98% of all Japanese adoptions are employers adopting the adult men on their staff, not children. Well, if you like him so much, then you marry him. This would make me so angry, both choosing a husband for me and not trusting me to run the business. My dad thinks I'm incompetent anyway, but at least I got to choose the idiot I married. Expand your empire to cover 16% of the world with this one simple hack. Conquerors hate him. Definition of a win-fucking-win scenario. The son-in-law is an able commander, you get multiple victories and a good heir to the throne. Son-in-law is an idiot, you get his kingdom and the daughter can just be married off to the next target. Or your grandchildren inherit, and the kingdom is subsumed into a greater khanate. His most famous daughters, Alak-Becky, married a dude from another tribe who was assassinated a few years later in an uprising. She saved a couple of her stepsons during the attack, which she married later on, although not at the same time. The man wasn't stupid. He knew exactly what he was doing. Has there ever been a really good movie or series about Genghis? I feel like there's a lot of untapped potential here. Con Eggleton wrote an incredible historical fiction about his life. I would recommend it. I learned way more than I could imagine with Dan Carlin's Hardcore History podcast on Genghis. Brutal, but clever, the man was a master of the long con. I have never had a comment make me angrily laugh before. Good job. His descendants ruled Persia, larger swathes of India and China as well as places across Central Asia and even Russia for a time. Truly did work out for him. It wasn't really even a con. It was just the way the Mongols governed. The Mongols are often the exception to much of our notions of civilizations, hence the meme, and gender norms are a great example of this. Although not completely equal, they were astonishingly egalitarian for their time, especially with women. Female warriors were a bit rare, but not impossible, but female authority figures were not at all uncommon. Widowed wives of late khans had honored positions as tribal elders, and, as shown here, women often ruled in their husbands' sons' even fathers' place. Pastoral societies often tend to be quite egalitarian, because, by paradox, when there's less resources to go around, communities tend to cooperate more. Simply put, when you need everyone to pitch in to survive, you respect everyone more. As a result, pastoral societies like the Mongols didn't have such rigid gender roles as seen in sedentary societies. Sedentary ones begin to specialize their roles, because it allows for greater production. Until these traditions of men do work and fight, women stay home and raise baby become foundational traditions. That said, they still weren't 100% on equality. The Mongols regularly practiced bride kidnapping. Both Genghis' wife and mother were kidnapped at some point, and all of Genghis' wives served in a domestic capacity. But we know the empresses of Genghis' line were valued for their input in managing the empire. I'm no mad at all. The Habsburgs had a motto, Belligerent alii, to Felix Austria nub let others make war, thou, O happy Austria, make marriages. They expanded their borders, and shrank their chins, through marriages instead of war, and managed to hang on to a throne for over 300 years. You know who has more descendants than Genghis Khan? This is my chosen Crusader Kings 3 play style. Honestly, the more I play, the less sense patriarchal inheritance makes tbh. Genghis Khan been playing CK2. Nah, he would have joined the Tangrist Satanist cult, He would have kidnapped him, and then he would sacrifice him to the Tangrist Satan. Lol kind of reminds me of that Roman lawyer, Varus, who married a powerful woman and thusly became a general, and led the 16th, 17th and 18th legions to their death east of the River Rhine in Germany around 6 AD. He had no business being in command of any army, let alone 3 legions. But they probably figured he couldn't fuck it up. They didn't count on the cunning of Arminius, or Arminius's ability to succeed where all other had failed before him, in uniting the barbaric Germanic tribes together against a common enemy. Seriously cannot recommend that video or that YouTube channel enough. Have watched 3 of their videos so far, the one on Hannibal is freaking awesome too. There's a show on this on Netflix called Barbarians. Damn, that's fucking cold.